Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on the sales quotation to blanket sales order process in the Onfinity ERP system. In this session, I will guide you step by step through managing long-term sales agreements. We'll cover the entire workflow, starting from creating quotations and moving all the way to invoicing. Let's begin with a quick overview of our agenda. We'll walk through the entire process step by step. This includes creating a sales quotation, converting it into a blanket sales order, and then managing the monthly releases, deliveries, and finally, the invoicing. Next, we will understand the objectives of this session. The objective of the session is to enable you to understand the sales quotation to blanket sales order process and its associative terms in the context of business processes. It also enables you to test the sales quotation to blanket sales order process in the context of business requirements. Before we dive into the process, let's first review the prerequisites. To begin, you will need access to the Onfinity platform with a valid user ID and password. Additionally, Onfinity basic setup and master data setup configurations must be completed and available. Let's begin with the sales quotation to blanket sales order process use case. This use case will better help you understand how the sales quotation to blanket sales order process works in real-life situations. To explain this more clearly, we will look at a practical scenario. At Sonic Ventures, the sales quotation to blanket sales order process begins when Devcast Incorporation, a leading electronics retailer, requests a long-term blanket arrangement for the supply of equipment over a 3-month period. This initial request sets the stage for structured planning and ensures that both the customer and the sales team have a clear understanding of expectations, timelines, and deliverables before the order process begins. Devcast Incorporation anticipates monthly requirements of 10 Redmi Note, 10 smartphones and 20 desktops, totaling 30 smartphones and 60 desktops over the duration of the agreement. The sales team prepares a comprehensive sales quotation that includes the full quantity for the 3 months, with unit prices set at 35,000 rupees for smartphones and 45,500 rupees for desktops, after applying 19% VAT. The quotation is reviewed internally and sent to the customer. Upon negotiation, a 6.5% discount is agreed upon, reducing the unit prices to 32,725 rupees for smartphones and 42,542.50 rupees for desktops. The quotation is updated to reflect the revised pricing and resent to Devcast Incorporation. This step highlights the importance of negotiation in the sales process. Updating the quotation with revised pricing ensures that both parties have an accurate, approved document before proceeding to the blanket sales order, which prevents errors in subsequent deliveries and invoicing. Once accepted, the quotation is converted into a blanket sales order, BSO, which outlines the scope, pricing, and terms for the 3-month period. Each month, a release sales order is generated under the BSO to fulfill the specific monthly requirement of 10 smartphones and 20 desktops. The BSO serves as a formal agreement between the company and the customer, ensuring that all parties have a clear understanding of the quantities, prices, and delivery schedule. This step provides a structured framework to manage long-term orders efficiently and reduces the chance of miscommunication. A delivery order is then created using the confirmation document type, allowing the warehouse team to verify and confirm the actual stock being dispatched. On the confirmation screen, the team ensures that the correct quantity is physically available and ready for delivery, minimizing the risk of discrepancies. This step is critical for maintaining inventory accuracy. By physically verifying stock before dispatch, the warehouse team prevents errors in shipment and ensures that the customer receives the correct products on time, maintaining customer satisfaction. Finally, after successful delivery, the finance team generates the accounts receivable, AR invoice. The AR invoice formalizes the billing process and triggers payment collection. By linking the invoice to the delivery and BSO, the system ensures that all financial records are accurate and traceable, which supports efficient accounting and reporting. Let's move on to the next topic. It's the sales quotation to blanket sales order process flowchart. This chart gives you a good overview of the entire sales quotation to blanket sales order process. We start with the sales quotation. This captures the customer's requested quantities, pricing, and terms. After the quotation is reviewed, negotiated, and accepted, it's converted into a blanket sales order, or BSO. The BSO formalizes the agreement for the entire period, specifying the total quantities, unit prices, and the terms and conditions that apply. After that, monthly release sales orders are generated from the BSO. These release orders match the customer's specific monthly needs. This helps the sales, production, and warehouse teams to plan and allocate resources efficiently. Next, a delivery order is created using the confirmation document type. This makes sure that the warehouse team verifies the physical stock available for sending out. During delivery confirmation, the team checks the quantities and makes sure that all items are correctly picked and ready for shipment. This minimizes the risk of any differences between what's ordered and what's shipped. Finally, after the goods are successfully delivered, the accounts receivable, or AR, invoice is generated. This completes the financial cycle. It links the delivered products to the billing, ensures accurate invoicing, and enables timely payment collection. This structured approach helps manage long-term agreements efficiently while ensuring accuracy and traceability at every step. Now let's know the basic masters involved in the sales quotation to blanket sales order process. To record the sales quotation to blanket sales order process, here are some basic masters which must be available in the system. These include customer master data, product or charge, attribute set instance if the product has multiple attributes, unit of measure, currency, price list, payment term, payment method, and warehouse. All of these topics are covered in their own training sessions. If you want to learn how to configure them, you can watch the detailed sessions on each topic. Now that we have covered the basic concepts and a practical use case for this process, you should have a clear understanding of the steps required to execute this business process effectively. This concludes the introduction to how and what we are going to process within the Onfinity system. Now let's move on to the system demonstration. I'll show you how the sales quotation to blanket sales order process can be performed step by step. First, open the Onfinity platform by entering the URL into your web browser. Then, enter your user identification in the designated field. Next, enter your password. Finally, click the Login button to access the system. Once you log in, you will see the Onfinity homepage. Here, you'll find various mosaics that display real-time data based on transactions recorded in the system. These mosaics can be helpful for analyzing the current business situation. Keep in mind that which mosaics are available depends on your user access rights and the modules installed in the system. Also, the mosaics you see might be different from the ones I'm showing, since they can be rearranged or customized to fit individual needs. To change the mosaics, go to the Mosaic section and click on it. From there, you can add another available mosaic by selecting it and dragging it onto the home page. To move an existing mosaic, select it and swap its position with another one. This lets you easily adjust and organize the mosaics in Onfinity to suit your needs. For now, we won't go into more detail about these mosaics. We will focus on the sales quotation to blanket sales order process. To start, we need to open the sales quotation screen so we can create a new sales quotation record. To access the sales quotation screen, you can search for sales quotation in the menu search or go through the sales and marketing module. From there, go to sales management, where you'll find the sales quotation option. Click on sales quotation to open the screen. This will take you to the sales quotation landing page. Here you'll see the landing page for sales quotations, displaying its default mosaic. Before we go further, let's understand what a sales quotation is. A sales quotation is a formal document a company sends to a customer. It specifies the products or services being offered, their quantities, prices, and terms of sale. It acts as an offer that the customer can review, negotiate, and accept. If accepted, it forms the basis for creating a sales order. On the sales quotation landing page, you'll see several KPI mosaics. The quotations expiring in 7 days mosaic shows quotations that are close to their expiry date. This lets the sales team take action quickly. Similarly, the expired quotations mosaic displays all quotations that weren't converted into sales orders and have already expired based on the valid till date entered in the quotation. Next, there's the sales quotation conversion ratio mosaic. This KPI shows the use percent of quotations that have been successfully converted into sales orders based on the records on the sales quotation screen. You can also filter records using the different filter mosaics available on the sales quotation landing page. For example, the advanced search mosaic or the customer mosaic lets you click on a specific hyperlink to display related records. Hyperlinks are automatically added when different values are used in their respective fields on the screen. In the document status mosaic, you can see the status of documents, such as drafted or closed. There are also mosaics for document type and representative. These allow you to further refine and view records based on those criteria. Besides the filter mosaics, there are several charts available for analysis. The Top 10 Open Sales Quotations chart shows the quotations with the highest value that are still open. Quotations that are completed or closed won't appear in this chart. The Top 10 Quotations by Value chart shows quotation values categorized by products. It reflects the created value of quotations from vendors. Finally, the Sales Quotation by Product Category chart shows which product categories are most often used in quotations. For example, it might show that one item from the mobile and accessories category and one item from the desktop and assembly components category were used in the quotations. Additionally, in the Open Quotations mosaic, we can directly create a sales order by selecting a sales quotation record. We'll look at this feature later in the session. These mosaics and charts help the sales team quickly access important data and make informed decisions. That concludes our overview of the sales quotation mosaics. Now, let's create a new sales quotation record for our use case. To begin, click on the New Record mosaic. This will open the screen in single record view, allowing you to enter all the necessary details. On the left side of the sales quotation screen, you'll see the header panel. This panel displays key details such as the customer name, quotation number, quotation date, quotation valid till date, currency, grand total, setup priority, and document status. These fields give you a quick overview of the sales quotation. Besides these fields, the header panel also includes the Document Action button. This is used to process and complete the transaction. First, select the organization in the designated field. Next, select the target document type. This indicates the type of transaction. The quotation number will automatically appear based on the sequencing setup for the selected document type. Finally, enter the quote date. This specifies the date on which this sales quotation record is being created. Next, we have the quotation valid till field. This field specifies the last date that the quotation can be converted into a sales order. After this date, the system will prevent the conversion, and the quotation will start appearing in the expired quotations KPI. For example, let's select the 15th of June, 2025 as the valid till date. This means the customer is expected to respond and confirm within this time frame. All the information you enter in these fields will be shown in the header panel of the sales quotation. This lets you quickly view and analyze the key details of the quotation. Next, we have the customer field. Here you need to enter and select the correct customer for the sales quotation. Based on the customer you select, All related customer information will automatically appear. This includes the invoice to business partner, location, bill to location, and the customer contact person. Also, the invoice contact field will be updated to show the correct contact for invoicing. Next, we have the sales representative field. This shows the person creating the quotation. This field is automatically filled in based on the login details of the current user. The price list, payment term, and payment method fields are also automatically filled in from the default settings on the customer record. You can manually change these fields if you need to. The price list is used to define the pricing for the products in the quotation. The payment term specifies how long the customer has to make the payment for the order. The payment method indicates how the customer will pay for the transaction. The Incoterm can also be selected here if any specific term applies to the process. This field is mainly used in transactions with international customers, as it defines the delivery and shipping terms that have been agreed upon. Once all these details have been entered, the next step is to save the record. Since we're following a specific use case for the blanket sales order, it's important that the selected customer has the Allow Blanket Sales Order checkbox marked as true. If not, we won't be able to continue. Let's quickly check this directly in the Customer Master. In the Customer field, zoom into the selected customer to access the record, then click the customer name hyperlink to open the customer record in single record view. Next, go to the Additional Conditions tab. Here you'll find the Allow Blanket Sales Order checkbox. This must be marked as true to process transactions for blanket sales. Also, the default warehouse linked to the organization must have the Allow Blanket Orders checkbox marked as true. We can only process the blanket transaction smoothly if both of these conditions are met: the customer and the warehouse settings. These details will then be automatically filled in on the blanket sales order screen. Now let's go back to the sales quotation. Here we can also set the priority of the quotation using the priority field. This priority will be used in later transactions as well. On the sales quotation screen, there's an Actions button. If you want to add lines from the cart, you can use the Create Lines from Cart button. We've already used this in a previous session. To add products from a previous transaction, once you have Click on Copy from Another Record button, confirm the process by clicking OK. Next, let us use the Reference Order field. Enter a few initial characters of the document number and select the specific transaction from the drop-down list. In this case, we are using our last created record because we require the same products. After clicking OK, the lines will be automatically inserted and copied into the Quotation Lines tab. You can check the details of the lines in the Quotation Lines tab composite view. If you need to make any changes, like adjusting the quantity or pricing, you can update them manually. You can either edit directly in the composite view or go to the Lines tab. Here, click on the line number hyperlink to open it in single record view. This allows you to see more detailed information for that line. For example, the customer needs 60 desktops, so we update the quantity field accordingly. Initially, we can set the initial price to 45,500 rupees. Right now, the prices are coming from the copied record line that we used. However, if you add a line manually, the price will be automatically updated from the price list. This assumes that a price is defined in the selected price list. Now that the price is set at 45,500 rupees, save the record and the remaining details on the line will update automatically. In the same way, let's update the second product line. Set the quantity to 30 and the price to 35,000 rupees, and then save the record. This shows how changes can be made manually in the Line tab. If a new line is added manually and the prices are available in the price list, the system will automatically find those prices. Of course, you can still edit those values if needed. The line history will be updated once we process and complete this sales quotation. If any changes are made after reactivating the record, those updates will also be comparable to the original version. This can be helpful depending on the business requirements. Now let's go back to the Header tab. We can also complete the record directly. To do this, click the Document Action button in the header panel. When the Document Action page opens, select Complete and Confirm by clicking OK. Once the record is completed, we can create a printout of the sales quotation and share it with the customer. This document provides all the details of the quotation. If the customer asks for a discount at this point, the terms can be negotiated before moving forward. Now let's say both sides agree on new terms after negotiating. The existing quotation needs to be reactivated to make those changes. To do this, click the Document Action button again. On the Document Action page, select Reactivate and confirm by clicking OK. The record will now be editable, so we can apply the necessary changes. Next, go to the Quotation Line tab. Click the line number hyperlink to open the record in single record view. Now we can update the prices to match the negotiated terms. In our use case, the agreed price for the Redmi Note 10 smartphone is 32,725 rupees. This is a discount of 6.5% on this line item. Once you've updated it, save the line. Similarly, go to the second product line for desktops. The agreed price here is 42,542 rupees and 50 paisa. Save the line after making the change. This is also a 6.5% discount. The system will automatically update the discount percentage based on the change in price. Since we copied the lines from an existing record, and the record used in our last session was already closed, the description field might have been updated with the word closed from that record. This isn't right, so let's remove it. Simply clear the description field, then move to the next line, remove the same text from the description, and save that line as well. Now click the Line History tab button to open the line history. Here, you can see the previous prices that were updated when the quotation was completed. Next, let's complete the quotation again. To do this, click the Document Action button, select Complete as the action, and confirm by clicking OK. Once the record is completed, the updated prices will also be captured. To check this, open the Line History tab again. You should now see the second line appearing here, showing the revised values. This is how you manage a sales quotation. Once the quotation is completed, we can share it with the customer for review. After the customer is satisfied and the details are finalized, we can move on to converting the sales quotation into a blanket sales order. At this point, under the Actions button, you'll see the Create Sales Order button is now available. Before we create the blanket sales order, let's go back to the landing page of the sales quotation. To update the mosaics, click on the Mosaic section and refresh it. Refreshing the page will update all the mosaic records, and you'll be able to see the new values. On the landing page, in the Top 10 Open Sales Quotations chart, you can see the quotation we just created is now listed. Also, in the Open Quotation Mosaic, the same document is visible, showing us that this is the quotation that needs to be converted. If you want, you can directly convert the quotation into a sales order from the Open Quotation Mosaic. To do this, click on the document number, select the product lines you need, and then click the Generate Sales Order button. The system will automatically create the sales order. However, we won't be using the Mosaic option for this use case. Instead, we'll proceed from within the sales quotation screen. So, let's go back to the sales quotation screen. Open the record we just created and click Create Sales Order from the Actions button. Confirm the action by clicking OK on the confirmation message. A new page will open where we need to update a few details. First, select Blanket Sales Order as the document type, since we're processing this order as a blanket sales order. Next, enter the document date. For now, let's set it as the 11th of July, 2025. If you want to close the original sales quotation after conversion, mark the Close Document checkbox as true. Finally, click OK, and the system will create the blanket sales order. You'll also see the message, Order Created Successfully, at the bottom of the sales quotation screen. The system will show the document number of the new blanket sales order. You can use this number to search for it in the blanket sales order screen later. Now let's go to the blanket sales order screen to continue the process. To do this, go to Order Management under the Sales and Marketing module. There, you'll find Blanket Sales Order. Click on Blanket Sales Order. This will open the landing page for the blanket sales order. On the blanket sales order landing page, you'll notice that there aren't many mosaics available by default. For now, there are only a few filtering mosaics, such as Advanced Search, Warehouse, Customer, and Document Status. These can be used to quickly filter and find specific records. To open the order we just created, click the Screen Record option. From there, find the blanket sales order and click the order number hyperlink. This will open the record in Single Record View, where you'll see all the details of the order. You might notice that certain fields, like the control type, haven't been updated yet. We need to check these details carefully and update them to match the business requirements before continuing. Let's start by setting the validity dates for the blanket sales order. Since this order is meant to be used for 3 months, we need to update the dates to reflect that. First, let's enter the date as the 10th of October, 2025. But wait, this field is actually the order valid from date, meaning the date the blanket order becomes effective. So instead of entering the full 3-month range here, we'll just set the valid from date as the 11th of July, 2025, the creation date of the order. Next, in the order valid to field, we'll define the actual end date of the 3-month period. Let's say this blanket sales order will be valid until the 10th of October, 2025. In the order reference field, we can see the sales quotation document number, since this blanket sales order was created directly from that quotation. We also have the target document type field. This field defines the type of transaction for the blanket sales order. It specifies the type of document being created and makes sure that the system applies the correct rules, controls, and processing steps for this specific order. A blanket sales order is a long-term agreement between an organization and a customer. It sets pre-approved pricing and terms for goods or services that will be delivered regularly over a specific period. We simply release the items from this blanket each month based on what the customer needs. Based on the sales quotation, the customer and all related details, such as the invoice to business partner, location, bill to location, user contact, and invoice contact, are automatically filled in. Next, we have the control type field. This field decides how strictly the blanket sales order will control future transactions. The most common and recommended option for blanket sales orders is price and quantity. When you select this, users can't change either the price or the quantity beyond what's defined in the blanket sales order during the release order process. This keeps everything consistent with the agreed terms. If you select price, the price can't be changed during release orders, but the quantity can be adjusted if needed. This is useful when demand might vary and more quantity is required, but the price stays fixed. If you select quantity, the quantity can't go beyond what's defined in the blanket order, but the price can still be updated. This might be helpful when prices change often, but the usage must stay within limits. For most standard blanket sales orders, it's best to use price and quantity to keep both fixed. So, for our use case, we'll use price and quantity as the selected control type. You can also use the description field to enter any extra notes or remarks. This information is just for reference, so we'll leave it blank for now. On the screen, you'll also see the Copy From button. This button lets you add lines directly from an existing record if you need to. Next, we have the Order Tax tab button. This tab contains the details of the taxes that apply, which are automatically updated based on the tax applied to the order lines. When we click on the Order Tax tab button, we can see both the tax amount and the taxable amount. Finally, we have the Lines tab button. This button is used to go to the Lines tab, where you can add new line items or review the details of existing lines in the blanket order. Before moving to the Lines tab, let's look at the fields under the Delivery and Invoicing section. The first field here is Warehouse. By default, the system selects the warehouse linked to the organization. Now, notice that when I clicked the Warehouse field, the default warehouse, Sonic Venture Warehouse, disappeared. This is because that warehouse doesn't have the Allow Blanket Order checkbox enabled. So, before processing a blanket order, make sure that the selected warehouse has the Allow Blanket Order checkbox enabled. Otherwise, you might run into problems later. In our case, Sonic Venture East Warehouse is available in the dropdown. This means that this warehouse has the Allow Blanket Order option marked as true. Let's zoom into this warehouse record from the Warehouse field to quickly check its setup. Click the warehouse name hyperlink to open it in single record view. Here, you can verify that the Allow Blanket Orders checkbox is enabled. Now that we've confirmed this, let's go back to the blanket sales order screen. Next, we have the price list, which comes directly from the sales quotation. Likewise, the payment term and payment method are also updated from the quotation. And if you need to define delivery and shipping terms, you can use the Incoterm field for that. You can view the item details in the Lines tab composite view, or simply click the Lines tab button to go to the Lines tab. If you want to check the details more closely, click the line number hyperlink to open the record in single record view. Here, you'll see all the related details for that line. The product field is used to specify the item, while the UOM, or unit of measure, field defines the unit in which the product will be handled. Next, we have the quantity estimation field. This indicates the maximum quantity that can be released under this blanket sales order. Here you have two options for working with the quantity field. First, you can directly enter the quantities that need to be released for the current month. Once you've entered them, you complete the blanket order and then create the release order. However, remember that each month, you'll need to reactivate the blanket sales order to update the quantity again. The second option is to keep the same quantities as an overall estimate without changing them each month. Instead, you make adjustments directly on the release order as needed. Which option you choose depends on how you want to manage the process. If you prefer to define monthly quantities within the blanket order, you'll need to reactivate it each time. Since this can take time, you can also keep the same quantities here and then release only the required quantities each month by making the necessary adjustments directly in the release order. After verifying all the details in the Lines tab, you can complete the blanket sales order. To do this, go back to the Header tab, click the Document Action button, and confirm by selecting OK. Once the blanket sales order is completed, the Release Sales Order button will become available. Next, click the Release Sales Order button to create the release sales order for the current month. After clicking, the release sales order will be generated. A confirmation message saying, "Order created successfully," will appear at the bottom of the blanket sales order screen, along with the document number of the new release sales order. Now, let's go to the sales order screen to view the release sales order we just created. To do this, go to Order Management under the Sales and Marketing module. Here, you'll find Sales Order. You can also search for Sales Order using the menu search utility. Clicking Sales Order will take you to the landing page of the Sales Order screen. Before we move on, let's understand what a sales order actually is. A sales order is a formal document that confirms the products, services, and agreed pricing of a sale. It includes details like product descriptions, quantities, prices, and delivery terms. On the landing page of the sales order screen, you'll see a number of default mosaics. These mosaics can be used to quickly filter records. Also, KPIs and charts provide valuable insights into the organization's sales performance. The mosaics include advanced search, document status, warehouse, target document type, and customer. All of these can be used to filter the available records and quickly find specific sales orders. Next, there's the Open Sales Order KPI, This shows all sales orders that are still open and waiting for delivery creation. In addition, there are two more important mosaics: due fulfillments and expected fulfillments. The due fulfillments mosaic shows sales orders that were scheduled to be delivered in the past but are still waiting, based on the promised date. The expected fulfillments mosaic displays sales orders that are scheduled to be fulfilled either today or in the future, according to their promised delivery dates. You can also create a delivery order directly from these two mosaics. The landing page also displays charts that can be used for analysis. Now let's go to the sales order records. Here you'll find the release sales order that was created. To see the details, click the document number hyperlink to open the record in single record view. All the details from the blanket sales order are filled in on this release sales order. The target document type is shown as Release Sales Order. Other information, including the customer, customer-related details, warehouse, price list, payment term, payment method, currency, rate type, and priority, are copied from the blanket sales order record. In the Lines Composite view, you can check all the details of the order. Here, you just need to enter the quantities that are being released for the current month. For example, enter a quantity of 20 for desktops and 10 for Redmi Note 10, and then save the changes using the Save Record button in the composite view. This is more efficient. It lets you update monthly release quantities directly in the release order. Otherwise, you'd need to go back to the blanket sales order and reactivate it each time to make quantity updates. Next, click the Show Order Tax tab button to open the Order Tax tab, where you can see the tax details for the sales order. If the payment term is set to advance payment, the payment schedule will be automatically updated. To check this, go to the Payment Schedule tab. Here, you'll see all the details about the advanced payment term. We're currently using the payment term Immediate, which isn't an advanced term, so the tab doesn't show any records right now. Now go back to the Header tab. Click the Lines tab button to go to the Order Line tab for a detailed check. You can review the details of each item by clicking the line number hyperlink to open the record in single record view. Here, you'll find all the relevant details for the order line for this transaction. Once you've verified everything, return to the Header tab. Next, click on the Order Details tab button to navigate to the Order Details tab, where you can review further details related to delivery and invoicing. You can also apply an additional discount by clicking the Apply Discount button. A confirmation message will appear. Confirm it by clicking OK. After you confirm, you can enter either the discount amount or the discount percentage. If there's an existing discount on the line that you want to remove, you can select the Clear Discount option. We won't apply any discount on this order for now, so just close the Apply Discount page. Let's go back to the Header tab. Click the Document Action button in the Header panel, confirm by clicking OK, and the release sales order will be completed. Next, go back to the blanket sales order. Here, you'll see that some details on the blanket have been updated. Go to the Lines tab and open the line in single record view to check the updated details. You'll notice that the quantity in the field has been reduced to 20 because 10 units have already been released from the blanket sales order. Also, the quantity released field will show that 10 have been released. Similarly, once these quantities are delivered, the quantity delivered field will also be updated. Now, let's go back to the sales order. Since the release order is already completed, the next step is to create a delivery order. This will record the shipment of products to the customer and update the stock in the warehouse. We can create the delivery order directly from the expected fulfillment mosaics on the sales order landing page. To do this, go to the landing page and refresh the mosaic so the records are displayed. Next, click the document number to view the item lines. Select the lines that need to be included in the delivery order, and the Generate Delivery Order button will become available to create the delivery order. However, we won't create the delivery order from the mosaic in this session. Instead, we'll go to the delivery order screen and create it manually. First, open the menu and select the Material Management module. Under this module, go to Order Fulfillment, where you'll find Delivery Order. Click on it to open the screen and go to the Delivery Order landing page. The delivery order is the document that records the movement of goods from the warehouse to the customer based on the sales order. It also makes sure that the inventory is updated and the correct items are confirmed as shipped. On the landing page, you'll see mosaics that can be used for filtering records. The available filters include Advanced Search, Warehouse, Customer, Document Type, Shipper, and Document Status. Just like the sales order, we also have Pending Deliveries and Expected Deliveries mosaics here. These can be used to create the delivery order based on the sales order. Both mosaics work the same way. You can create the delivery order either directly from the sales order screen mosaics or from these delivery order screen mosaics. To create it from the mosaic, click the order document number, select the lines that need to be included, and the Generate Delivery Order button will be enabled. This will allow you to create the delivery order. We'll create the delivery order manually from the delivery order screen for this session, so we'll close this mosaic for now. The landing page also displays charts like delivery order versus customer return. This lets you compare items delivered with returns. The Top 10 Highest Stock Products chart highlights the quantities of products with the highest stock levels, allowing for further analysis. There are also additional mosaics to open forms and processes that are used to generate the delivery order and invoice, besides the screen that is available. The screen provides options for specific record transactions, such as Generate Delivery and Generate Invoice. For business partners, the process options available are Generate Delivery Order Manual and Generate Invoice Manual. These are additional features that can be used. We will discuss them in a separate session. For now, we'll create the delivery order manually from the screen. Click the New Record mosaic. This will open the screen in single record view. First, we need to select the organization. For the document type, we'll use the confirmation process. This makes sure that the correct and accurate items are being delivered to the customer. We'll select Shipment with confirmation as the document type. We discussed the configuration of this document type in our previous session, so we won't go into detail now. Next, we need to enter the movement date. This is the date the items are scheduled for delivery. Let's set it as the 12th of July, 2025. Then, enter the order number of the sales order we created in the sales order field. Once you select the order from the drop-down list, all related details will automatically be filled in based on the sales order. With this information updated, save the header record. We're now ready to continue. We also have shipment details available here. These are mainly used for shipment tracking. In the shipment section, you'll find fields like shipping method and freight category. If you want to specify a shipper, you can do that here. Based on these inputs, details like transportation identification, shipping business partner, and transport document number will be updated automatically. You can also enter the tracking number, vehicle registration number, the number of packages being sent to the customer, and the gross weight and tare weight. The fields in the shipment section are primarily used in processes like e-billing and e-invoicing. These fields aren't usually used in the standard process. However, if additional processes are being followed, these details can be entered here as informational records. Here, you'll see the Create Lines from Sales Order button. Clicking the Create Lines from Sales Order button will open the Create Lines from page. The order number will already be filled in by default, since it's selected on the delivery order header. Next, select the locator and confirm by clicking OK. Now, choose the line that needs to be added for the delivery and confirm with OK again. Then, click the Lines tab button. This will take you to the Lines tab, where you can check the inserted line details. To see more information, click the product hyperlink. This will open the record in the single record view. Here you can check all the product line details. Once you've checked the line details, we can go back to the Header tab to continue. The Create Lines from Sales Order option is one way to add the lines. Another option is to create lines from the cart if you're using the cart functionality. To do that, click the Create Lines from Cart button. This will open the Create Lines from Cart page, where the available carts for the delivery order will be displayed. Only shipment-specific carts are available here, since this is a dependent transaction. Delivery orders are created based on sales orders in the system. We will skip the Create Lines from Cart page for now. Next, there's the Generate AR Invoice button. This lets us generate the invoice directly from the delivery order screen once the delivery order is completed. We'll come back to this later to see how it works. Finally, the Review Posting button can be used to check the posting of the delivery order. This lets you see the impact on ledger entries before completing the record. Once everything looks good, the record can be completed. Click the Document Action button in the header panel, select Complete, and confirm by clicking OK. This will process the record and create the confirmation document for further processing. The shipment confirmation will be created. The confirmation document number will appear at the bottom of the delivery order screen. Now, we'll go to the confirmation screen to process the confirmation. To open the confirmation screen, go to Storage Operations under Material Management. There, you'll find Shipment GRN Confirmation. Click it and the Shipment GRN Confirmation screen will open. As we already know, the Shipment GRN Confirmation screen is a central place to confirm documents. This includes goods receipt notes for incoming goods and delivery confirmations for outgoing goods. For the delivery order confirmation, click the confirmation hyperlink of the document we created. This will open the record in a single record view. We can confirm the quantity directly from the line composite view. We already covered most of the details on the confirmation screen in our previous session. Next, we can go to the Review Confirmation Line tab to check the details or make any changes. Click the GRN line hyperlink to open the record in single record view. Here, you can select the scrap locator. If there's any scrap quantity, you can define the specific locator to show where the scrapped items will be placed. In the Confirmed Quantity field, you can confirm the quantity that's ready to be sent out. The system will update the difference quantity based on the difference between the target quantity and the confirmed quantity. If needed, you can add a description to note any discrepancies found during confirmation. You can also enter the confirmed quantity directly based on the targeted quantity. For now, we'll undo any changes and confirm the full quantity of 10. As this shipment is being sent out completely rather than partially. Once that's done, click Save and Back to return to the header. This will allow the document to move forward for completion. Click the Document Action button in the header panel. On the Document Action page, select Complete and Confirm by clicking OK. After it's completed, the delivery order transaction will be finalized. If there are any discrepancies or differences, the In Dispute check button will automatically be selected. Now, let's go to the delivery order screen and refresh it. Search for the delivery order we created. You can either view it in the grid view for a quick check, or click the document number hyperlink to open it in single record view. As you can see, the document status has now changed from In Progress to Completed. This is based on the confirmation done from the confirmation screen. The next step is to create an AR invoice for this completed shipment. To do this, we can use the Generate AR Invoice button on the delivery order screen. Click it. We've already covered how to create an invoice manually from the AR Invoice screen. For now, we'll use this Generate AR Invoice button. Confirm the prompt by clicking OK, and the info page will open. Here, you just need to select AR Invoice as the document type. If there are any charge lines on the sales order that weren't included in the delivery, and you want to include them in the AR invoice, you need to select the Generate Charge checkbox. Keep in mind that the delivery order is mostly used for item shipment. Next, confirm by clicking OK. The AR invoice document number will appear at the bottom of the delivery order screen. Copy the document number so you can search for it in the AR invoice screen. Now let's open the AR invoice screen. First, open the menu, then go to the Financial Management module. Under Financial Management, go to Accounts Receivable. You'll find AR Invoice there. Click it to open the screen. After the AR Invoice screen opens, you'll land on the landing page of the AR Invoice. An AR Invoice, or Accounts Receivable Invoice, is a document used to bill the customer for goods delivered or services provided. It also records the amount receivable in the company's accounts. On the landing page, you'll see the available filters and some other mosaics. The AR invoice has already been understood in detail in its own session. For a more in-depth explanation, you can check out the video on AR invoices under Financial Management. Here, we're just focused on checking the AR invoice that was created from the delivery order. Since we generated the invoice directly from the delivery order process, we can click the screen record option to go to the AR invoice records. We can search for the document number in the search bar to find our invoice. Once you find it, click the invoice number to open the record in single record view for detailed information. The details displayed here are automatically filled in from the delivery order and sales order. This includes fields like organization and target document type. Next, we have the invoice date. You can change this if needed. For example, since there were changes in the delivery date, we can set it to the 12th of July, 2025. The account date also changes based on the invoiced date. This field sets the posting date for accounting. You can change it if you need to. We'll keep the same date for now. After checking all the details, such as the customer, location, price list, products, quantities, and prices, we're ready to complete the invoice record. We reviewed how to add lines using Create Lines From in our previous session. Clicking the Create Lines From button opens the Create Lines From page, where you can select the order or shipment and the lines will appear. We can close this page for now. You can also check the invoice postings by clicking Review Posting. If you need to, you can add lines from existing invoices using Copy Lines from Another Invoice. These are the available options on the AR invoice screen. We won't go into detail about the remaining fields and options here. We already covered these in the AR invoice session under Financial Management. Once everything is verified, complete the record to process the transaction into the system. To complete the record, click the Document Action button and confirm by clicking OK. This is how your transaction is recorded into the system. Your process from the sales quotation to the blanket sales order, followed by the delivery with confirmation and the AR invoice, is now complete. Once the record is completed, the entire process from sales quotation to blanket sales order, then the release sales order, delivery with confirmation, and AR invoice is completed. I hope you now have a clearer and better understanding of the entire cycle of the sales process, from sales quotation to AR invoice in Onfinity. This brings us to the end of this training session. Thank you for attending. If you have any questions or need anything else, please feel free to ask.